Hi, let's continue with our section. In this video, I want to talk about the reinforcement learning basics. So, reinforcement learning aims to create algorithms that can learn and adapt to the environmental changes. This programming technique is based on the concept of receiving external stimuli that depend on the action chosen by the agent. A correct choice will involve a reward, while an incorrect choice will lead to a penalty. The goal of the system is to achieve the best possible result, of course. So this mechanism derived from the basic concepts of the machine learning, which is learning from the experience in attempt to stimulate human behavior. In fact, in our mind, we activate brain mechanisms that lead us to chase and repeat what in us produce the feelings of gratification and well-being. Whenever we experience moments of pleasure, for example, food, sex, and love, substances are produced in our brain that work by reinforcing the same stimulus, thus emphasizing it. So, along with this mechanism of neurochemical reinforcement, an important role is presented by the memory. In fact, memory collects the experience of the subject so that it is able to repeat it in the future. Evolution has endorsed us with this mechanism to push us to repeat gratifying experiences in the direction of the best solution. This is why we so powerfully remember the most important experiences of our life. Experiences, especially those are powerful and rewarding, are ingrained in memory and condition our future exploration. Previously, we have seen that learning from experience can be simulated by numerical algorithm in various ways, depending on the nature of the signal used for learning and the type of feedback adopted by the system. So this diagram shows a flowchart that displays an agent's interaction with the environment in a reinforcement learning setting. So we got the agent perform the action to the environment, and the environment will give the reward to the agent, and also it will give the state to the agent, as can you see from the image. So the following list shows the steps to follow to correctly apply the reinforcement learning algorithm. So first we need to do the preparation of the agent. Second is the observation of the environment. The third one is the selection of the optimal strategy. The fourth one is the execution of actions. The fifth one is the calculation of the corresponding reward or penalty. The sixth one is the development of updating strategies if necessary, and the final one is a repetition of step 2 through step 5 iteratively until the agent learns from the optimal strategies. So reinforcement learning is based on a theory from psychology which was elaborated on by the following series of experiments performed on animals. In particular, Edward Thorndike, American psychologist, noted that if a cat is given a reward immediately after the execution of a behavior that is considered correctly, then this increases the probability that this behavior will repeat itself. On the other hand, the face of unwanted behavior, the application of the punishment decreases the probability of the repetition of an error. So on the basis of this theory, after defining a goal to be achieved, reinforcement learning tries to maximize the rewards received for the execution of the action or the set of actions that allows us to reach the designated goal. So now let's talk about the agent environment interface. So reinforcement learning can be seen as a special case of the interaction problem in terms of achieving a goal. The entity that must reach the goal is called the agent. The entity with which the agent must interact is called the environment, which corresponds to everything that is external to the environment. So far we are more focused on the term agent, but what does it represent? The agent is a software. Is a software entity that performs services on behalf of another program, usually automatically and invisibly. So these piece of software are called smart agents. So what following is a list of the most important features of an agent. So it can choose between a continuous and a discrete set for an action on the environment. The action depends on the situation. The situation is summarized in the system state. The agent continuously monitors the environment, which is the input, and continually changes its status. The choice of the status is not trivial and requires a certain degree of intelligence. And final one is the agent has a smart memory. So the agent has a goal-directed behavior but acts in an uncertain environment that is not known priori or only partially known. An agent learns by interacting with the environment. Planning can be developed while learning about the environment through measurements made by the agent itself. This strategy is close to the trial and error theory. So trial and error is a fundamental method of problem solving. It is characterized by repeated varied attempts that are continued until success or until the agent stops trying. So the agent environment interaction is continuous. The agent chooses an action to be taken, and in response, the environment changes state, representing a new situation to be faced. So in particular case of the reinforcement learning, the environment provides the agent with a reward. It is essential that the source of the reward is the environment to avoid the information within the agent of a personal reinforcement mechanism that would compromise learning. So in particular cases, in the so the value of the reward is proportional to the influence of the action has in reaching the objective. So it is positive or high in the case of a correct action or negative or low for the incorrect action. So the following list are the examples, are some examples of real life in which there is an interaction between the agent and environment to solve the problem. So the first one is a chess player. For each move has information on the configurations of pieces that can be created and on the possible counter moves of the opponent. The second one is a little horse. In just a few hours, learns to get up and run. The third one is a truly autonomous robots learn to move around a room to get out of it. And the final one is the parameters of refinery, which can be oil pressures, flow, and so on, are set in real time so as to obtain the maximum yield or maximum quality. So all of the example that we just examine have some following characteristics in common. The first one is the interaction with the environment. The second one is a specific goal that the agent wants to get. And the final one is the uncertainty or partial knowledge of the environment. So from the analysis of this example, is it possible to make the following observation? The first one is the agent learns from its own experience. The second one is the action change the status, which is the situation and the possibility of choice change in the future, which is the delay reward. The third one is the effect of an action cannot be completely predicted. The agent has a global assessment of its behavior. And the next one is it must exploit this information to improve its choices. And choices improve with experience. And the final one is problem can have a finite or infinite time horizon. So essentially, the agent receives sensations from the environment through its sensors. Depending on its feeling, the agent decides on what actions to make in the environment. Based on an immediate result of its action, the agent can be rewarded. So if you want to use automatic learning method, you need to give a formal description of the environment. So it's not important to know exactly how the environment is made. What is interesting is to make the general assumptions about the probabilities that the environment has. And that is all in this video. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video.